Hello everyone, we are Maria, Lola, Jesus and Noemi, and today we are going to talk about the basic design elements. First of all, we are going to do a little introduction and then we are going to talk about the 10 basic design elements. Basic design elements are the instruments for the harmonious composition of a design that help to conceive, organize, project, and carry out visual communications or graphic works. They are not exclusive, since if so, they would be abstract. However, taken together, they are decisive for the final appearance of a design. Therefore, they are the basis on which the criteria that qualify a good or bad design are discussed. They aim to share a specific message to specific groups through different media such as brochures or posters. A line is the basic visual element of all graphics, which is still a succession of points connecting the path from one point to another. When we work with lines, we must pay attention to qualities such as thickness, color, texture, and style. A line almost always expresses dynamism, movement, and direction. Thanks to this, we can emphasize concepts, divide them, or even help the viewer by guiding their reading. Color is a set of rules and fundamentals that define basic rules in a mixture of pigments in order to imitate the existing colors in the real world. Throughout history, you can see how artists and scientists have created systems to organize the perception of color into visual models. A color model helps the designer to see these relationships when planning their ideas. Different hues or different wavelengths of light have a value, darkness or lightness, and a chroma, also called saturation. So color is an agent of great importance and artists must pay attention to it. In geometry, a shape can be defined as the form of an object or its outline, outer boundary, or outer surface. Everything we see in the world around us has a shape. We can find different basic shapes such as the two-dimensional square, rectangle and oval, or the three-dimensional rectangular print, cylinder and sphere in the objects we see around us. Shapes can be classified into open and closed shapes. In the open shapes. In geometry, they can be defined as a shape or figure whose lines, segments, and curves do not meet. They don't start and end at the same point. In the closed shapes, in geometry, can be defined as an enclosed shapes or figure whose lines, segments, and curves are connected or meet. They start and end at the same point. Texture is a perceived surface quality of a work of art. It is an element of two-dimensional and three-dimensional designs and is distinguished by its perceived visual and physical properties. Use of texture along with other elements of design can convey a variety of messages and emotions. There are two types. The physical texture, also known as actual texture or tactile texture, are the patterns of variation upon a solid surface. These can include, but are not limited to, fur, canvas, wood grains, sand, leather, or a smooth surface such as metal or glass. Visual texture or implied texture is the illusion of having physical texture. Every material and every support surface has its own visual texture and needs to be taken into consideration before creating a composition.
The typography is the technique of writing, using different designs of letter and calligraphy in order to hide what you want to communicate. It is very useful is the field of advertising or marketing, when the visual part is fundamental, when general and reaction for the public. It is responsibility for everything relation to symbols, numbers, letter can be printed mm, on physical or design support. In graphical designs, great importance is given to imaging and colors. There is a fundamental element that something goes unlisted, such as a letter class. The designs appear and dimensions depend on the style. There are many types, as several of below. There are the serif that there are ornaments usually located at the end of the line of typography or characters. Another type is sans. They offered a modern typography to the designs. The term scale is defined as the order suggestion of the sense of term of the same quality. The scale of unit refers to measure that must be taken into account when reducing or expanding something, so that is a physical or draft representation. It is easier to interpret, for example, a giant building that need a smaller scale model so that engineers and architects can better visualize its geometry.
Balance. Balance is a distribution of the visual weight of objects, colors, textures, and space. If the design was scale, these elements should be balanced to make a design feel stable. In symmetrical balance, the elements used on one side of the design are similar to those on the other side. In asymmetrical balance, the sides are different but still look balanced. In radical balance, the elements are arranged around a central point and may be similar. Type of balance. Symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance is achieved by giving equal weight to elements across the center point of a composition. The center point can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. The result is a repetitive or mirrored image that appears to be completely equally balanced. Asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical balance or asymmetry means that the two halves of the work of art are different, however, try to create balance. In other words, also the sides may not be exactly the same. There will be elements that interact in a way that makes each side equally important. Harmony. Harmony is the sense of cohesiveness between the elements in a composition. The elements shouldn't be exactly the same or completely different, but related in some way. Color palettes or similar textures are create a sense of unity between different components. Using similarly shaped items will create harmony because they will seem related. Not enough or too much harmony can make a design dull. There needs to be some kind of variety for it to be visually interesting. This is all. We hope you have learned a little more about the subject of basic design elements. Thanks for your attention.